Have you ever lain awake at 3 a.m. in the stillness of the night, wondering why you're awake at this hour? No noise, no nightmares, and no work pressures like in your younger years. Yet, your eyes are wide open and your mind is unusually alert. If you're older, this might be a familiar experience, sometimes bewildering, even worrisome. Many believe that waking up in the middle of the night, especially around 3 a.m., is simply a symptom of aging. They assume it's inevitable as the body starts to lose its edge, or as the biological clock becomes disrupted over the years. However, the truth is that this phenomenon is more common than you might think, and more importantly, it's not something wrong with your body. It doesn't signify deterioration, nor is it your fault. In this video, we'll explore 5 deep-seated reasons why older adults frequently wake up around 3 a.m. But don't worry, these aren't just dry theories about sleep. Each reason will unveil a new perspective on your body, from hormonal changes, subtle shifts in circadian rhythms, to emotions, memories, and even seemingly harmless daily habits. You'll see that waking up in the middle of the night isn't merely a physiological issue. Behind it lies a whole process of the body and mind adapting to changes in age, living conditions, and your inner spiritual journey. Each time you open your eyes at 3 a.m., it might carry a message about your health, emotions, or things you've never noticed. If you've ever felt frustrated because you couldn't fall back asleep, or worried that you're experiencing insomnia, this video might change how you perceive yourself. Perhaps after watching, you'll feel more at ease, understand better what's happening in your body, and most importantly, learn to love and adjust yourself more gently. Stay with us until the end of the video, because what you're about to hear will not only help you sleep better, but also help you understand yourself more deeply. Sleep is not just a state of rest, but also a mirror reflecting your life's rhythm, mood, and the memories you've traversed. And perhaps, precisely at 3 a.m., your body is trying to whisper something truly important. When melatonin quietly leaves sleep, have you ever woken up at 3 a.m. in a strangely quiet space and asked yourself, why am I awake right now? There's no sound, no strange dream, no clear anxiety, just your eyes open, completely alert, even though your body still needs rest. This happens to many people from the age of 60 and up. And one of the most obvious yet often overlooked causes is the natural decline of the hormone melatonin, the substance responsible for regulating the body's biological clock. Melatonin is like the gatekeeper of sleep. When night falls, your body starts to release this hormone to signal that it's time to rest. Melatonin helps you fall asleep, keeps your mind relaxed, and maintains you in a deep, uninterrupted sleep. When you're young, your body produces melatonin in abundance. That's why long nights and continuous sleep come naturally. But as you age, your body starts to produce less melatonin, very quietly. This decline doesn't cause pain, nor does it show any clear signs, but it deeply affects sleep quality. You may still fall asleep easily at night, especially after a long day. But around 2 or 3 a.m., the melatonin levels in your body drop to a point that's no longer enough to keep you in deep sleep. The result? You wake up, not because of worry, but simply because your brain is no longer being held in a sleep state. And this doesn't mean you're doing something wrong or that your body is getting weaker. On the contrary, it's just a sign that your hormones are changing over time, a natural law no one can avoid. In addition, the environment around you can make this situation worse. Just a bit of light from a street lamp shining through the window, the soft glow of a digital clock, or light seeping in from under a door, can be enough to suppress melatonin production, making your body think it's time to wake up. Mr. Hua, 72, used to sleep very well, but recently he often wakes up at 3:15 a.m., completely alert. At first he thought he might have a sleep disorder, or that it was just old age, but after looking into it more deeply, he realized it was a natural change in the body, related to a melatonin deficiency. Instead of worrying, he began making a few simple but effective adjustments. He kept his bedroom completely dark, avoided blue light from his phone at least an hour before bedtime, and added a light evening walk to his routine. These signals helped his body understand that the night was still continuing, and that sleep should last longer. As a result, Even though he still wakes up early sometimes, Mr. Hua feels less stressed, more at ease, because he's no longer fighting his body, but starting to listen to it and go along with it. Understanding what melatonin is, why it decreases with age, and how it affects your sleep is the first step to shifting from frustration to compassion toward yourself. And from there, you can make small yet powerful changes to take care of your sleep and the peace within your soul. When the inner rhythm quietly changes, there are changes within the body that come ever so gently, unannounced and silent. One of these is the phenomenon where many older adults, especially from age 65 onwards, often wake up around 3 a.m., feeling as though they've had enough sleep, even though it's still pitch dark outside. This isn't necessarily due to stress or a dream that disrupted your rest. It's a sign of a biological occurrence known as the advanced sleep phase, a completely natural change in the aging process. As we age, our biological rhythm, also called the internal body clock, starts to shift earlier. This means you begin to feel sleepy earlier in the evening, and of course you wake up earlier the next morning. You might find yourself nodding off before finishing a movie at 9 p.m. and automatically waking up at 3 or 4 a.m., even without an alarm. This phenomenon is not a habit formed by lifestyle circumstances, but a real physiological change pre-programmed in the body. When we're younger, we tend to stay up late and sleep in longer, with our body clock syncing well with modern life rhythms. But over time, this clock starts moving forward, like a small watch ticking ahead year after year. You may not even notice the change. One day you realize you're getting sleepy at 8 p.m., drifting off unintentionally and waking up before the night has even ended. This can cause confusion, even anxiety, especially if you believe you're experiencing insomnia or a health issue. But in reality, you're not broken. You're just shifting rhythms. Mr. Tam, a 69-year-old man living with his wife in Dalat, is a prime example. After retiring, his life became more relaxed. He had early dinners, watched a bit of television, and went to bed by 9 p.m. Every morning he'd wake up at 3 a.m. without an alarm. At first he was worried, but after a doctor explained the advanced sleep phase phenomenon to him, he was relieved. It turned out his sleep wasn't broken, it had simply been reprogrammed. Since then, Mr. Tam began adjusting his evening routine. Instead of turning the lights off early, he spent more time reading under soft lighting, taking walks around the house, or chatting with his children and grandchildren over the phone. These small but emotionally rich activities served as gentle signals to his body. It's not bedtime yet. Miraculously, by simply shifting his evening schedule a bit later, Mr. Tam started sleeping later and no longer woke up too early. Understanding this phenomenon helps older adults relieve the feeling of guilt toward themselves. There's nothing wrong with your body operating differently. It's simply entering a new chapter of life. And when you accompany these changes with understanding, gentleness, and flexibility, you'll feel more at peace, healthier, and more in sync with your natural rhythm. When the body whispers in the night. Some nights you suddenly wake up at 3 a.m., no nightmares, no abrupt noises, just a vague sensation pulling you out of sleep. Maybe it's a slight discomfort in your shoulder, a dull ache in your knee, or just the unmistakable need to use the restroom that becomes more noticeable in the silence of the night. From the age of 65 onward, the body starts to send out very personal signals, silent but no less important messages. One of the most common reasons older adults wake up at 3 a.m. is physical discomfort or subtle but persistent health issues that only surface during the quietest time of day. When you're younger, you might sleep all night in one position, without any discomfort. But over time, your joints become more sensitive. Conditions like arthritis can make lying still for hours quite uncomfortable. At first, you don't notice it, but as back or knee pain builds up, your body instinctively wakes you as a way to change position. A sensitive stomach can also be the culprit. If you have dinner too late or lie down right after eating, acid reflux may arise and cause a burning or dull discomfort, enough to wake you up at 3 a.m. for no apparent reason. Then there's nighttime urination, a common issue among older adults, particularly men. Over time, the bladder loses its elasticity, leading to more frequent and urgent need to urinate. During the day, that sensation may be masked by activity and distractions. But at night, in complete silence, your body demands attention, and once you get out of bed to go to the bathroom, even for just a few minutes, your deep sleep has been replaced by full wakefulness that's hard to reverse. Another lesser-known cause is the side effects of medication. Many middle-aged and elderly people take regular prescriptions for blood pressure, heart conditions, arthritis, etc. Some of these medications cause water retention, nighttime urination, or increased sensitivity to light and sound, all of which impact sleep. Ms. Mai, 76, used to think she was just getting old when she frequently woke up at 3:30 a.m. A naturally light sleeper, she felt discomfort, but didn't think much of it. Until one day she consulted a doctor. It turned out that a diuretic she was taking in the evening disrupted her body's water balance and increased nighttime urination. Once she was advised to change the timing of her medication and slightly adjust her daily habits, her nighttime awakenings significantly decreased, and most importantly, she could fall back asleep more easily. The lesson here is not about perfect sleep, but about listening to your body with trust and gratitude. Those 3 a.m. awakenings may not be malfunctions. They could be your body's way of whispering, a natural defense mechanism working to protect you. When we understand these signals better, we can care for our bodies more gently. And in doing so, sleep, as well as life, becomes more serene, meaningful, and beautifully restful with each passing day. When tiny habits quietly shift your sleep. Some changes don't come from the body or illness, but from the most familiar parts of daily life. Sometimes it's the small habits, the repeated choices over the years, that subtly shift your circadian rhythm and cause you to wake up at 3 a.m. without knowing why. In retirement, life often becomes quieter and less eventful. Dinners happen earlier. Evenings pass calmly with no more appointments or work stretching into the night. Physical activity also decreases. Tasks like working, picking up grandkids, meetings, or running errands become less frequent. All of that might sound ideal and reasonable. But did you know that your circadian rhythm, the internal clock, relies heavily on cues from your environment and daily routine? When these cues fade, like strong evening light stimulating mental activities or ambient noise, your body interprets it as, it's bedtime, sometimes as early as 8 p.m., and when you go to bed earlier, your rest cycle ends earlier too. The result? You wake up at 3 a.m., while everyone else is still sound asleep and you're wide awake. Eating schedules and blood sugar stability also play important roles. Having dinner too early, though good for digestion, can cause a mild drop in blood sugar during the night if there's no light snack before bed. You may not feel hungry, but your body wakes due to low energy. Similarly, caffeine, even consumed in the early afternoon, can affect your sleep, especially as metabolism slows with age. Mr. Tree, 74, retired after over 40 years as a teacher. At first, he enjoyed a lighter, freer life. Dinner at 5 p.m., watching the news, and relaxing in his favorite recliner. Many evenings he'd fall asleep right there, then go to bed before 9 p.m. After a while, he started waking up regularly at 3 a.m. At first, he assumed it was just old age sleep trouble. But after tracking his routines, he realized his overly quiet lifestyle had thrown off his sleep rhythm. He made some adjustments, adding a light walk in the late afternoon, reading under warm lighting in the evening, avoiding dozing off after dinner, and occasionally calling friends before bed. These seemingly small tweaks made a significant difference. He fell asleep later, slept deeper, and no longer woke up before dawn. We often forget how much the body craves consistency. Repeated rhythms become cues like familiar music signaling it's time to rest. When that rhythm is even slightly off, sleep follows suit. The magic is this: just a bit of awareness, a small change, and you can gently recalibrate your internal clock to tick in harmony with your preferred rhythm. And then 3 a.m. is no longer a lonely hour, but a peaceful pause placed perfectly within the symphony of your life. When the mind gently stirs at night, there are times when you wake up at 3 a.m., not because of physical pain, not because of any unusual sound. Your eyes simply open, your heart softly trembles, and your mind quietly drifts back to distant memories. There's no clear worry, yet no perfect peace either. Just a vague feeling that something inside you needs to be heard. From age 65 onward, as the busyness of daily life gradually fades, the layers of emotion once buried beneath work, responsibilities, and the hustle of life begin to rise. And that moment at 3 a.m., when the whole world is still asleep, becomes the ideal space for nostalgia, regret, or unspoken thoughts to surface. This feeling is unlike the intense anxiety of youth. It's quieter, deeper, like a soft echo rising from within. The mind, no longer caught up in daily tasks, tends to return to the past, decisions once made, relationships that have drifted, losses endured, and things left unsaid. In the darkness of night, that silence becomes clearer than ever. Loneliness may also play a significant role. As we age, our social circles often shrink. Children grow up, friends become busier or drift apart. The days may pass with light busyness, tending to plants, cooking, watching TV, but at night the feeling of emptiness and the yearning for connection can quietly seep into every still moment. Think of Mrs. Lain, 80 years old, living alone since her husband passed away a few years ago. During the day she keeps herself busy, caring for her flower garden, calling her grandchildren, watching her favorite shows. But every night around 3 a.m. she often wakes up, her mind returning to memories with her late husband or vague worries. She's never spoken aloud. At first she thought she had insomnia, but instead of worrying she began to listen to herself. She kept a small notebook beside her bed. Each time she woke up, she'd write a few lines, something she remembered, a feeling that arose, or simply a gentle note to herself. She also created soothing evening habits, listening to instrumental music, writing a letter by hand, or rereading an old poem. These seemingly small things became a gentle path guiding her mind back to peace, helping her return to sleep more easily. But, more importantly, helping her feel heard, reaching emotional places she thought had long gone quiet. Because the truth is, the human heart doesn't follow the clock. It remembers what it needs to remember, asks questions when needed, and sometimes that happens at 3 a.m. But it's not a bad thing. It's a sign of depth, of experience, and of a richly emotional soul. If you wake up in the middle of the night feeling restless, don't be alarmed. Ask yourself, what is my mind trying to tell me? What should I let go of and what should I hold on to? Maybe with just a little gentleness toward yourself, you'll find peace, not only in sleep, but also in your life. You're not just getting older, you're evolving. At every stage of life, our bodies and minds quietly transform, not to grow weaker, but to become more understanding, deeper, and more deliberate in sensing ourselves. And if you find yourself waking at 3 a.m. more often than before, it might not be a sign of being off track, but a natural part of the human journey. Sleep is no longer just a state of rest. It's a mirror reflecting your health, emotions, and inner rhythm. Through the 5 reasons shared in this video, from declining melatonin, shifting biological rhythms, physical discomforts, daily habits, to deep emotional layers, you may now see that everything happening has a reason, and you are not alone. In this journey, when you learn to listen to your body with gentleness and care for yourself with understanding, you not only improve your sleep quality, but also draw closer to yourself, entering each new day with peace, lightness, and deep love. You are living through a very beautiful phase. Life may have slowed down, but the depth of your soul is richer than ever. The experiences, the joys and sorrows, the times you overcame hardships, all of them have shaped a mature, complete, and truly proud version of who you are today. We deeply thank you for spending your time with this video, and more than anything, we'd love to hear from you. Please leave a comment below and share something that resonated with you, or one small change you'd like to make from what you've just heard. These stories not only inspire us, but could also touch many others going through something similar. If you found this video helpful, don't hesitate to click like, subscribe, and share it with your friends or loved ones. Your support helps us continue spreading positive messages to the community, especially to those who need a gentle nudge, a moment of empathy in this ever-moving life. Thank you for being here, with an open heart and a spirit of lifelong learning. See you in the next videos, where we continue to listen to ourselves, understand life, and grow together in the gentlest way possible.